So this is another good afternoon. We are going to focus on the second topic of research methodology or research work. And today's focus is focusing on the components of research proposal. There are various components, and today we are going to focus on the introductory part of the research proposal, which includes the research topic, table of contents, acknowledgement, declaration, nomenclature, and abstracts. So this is the first part of the component. Next time also we will continue. Our next lecture will have the other parts of the proposal, of the research proposal. Our first discussion today is about a research topic. It is advisable that you should choose a research topic that is of interest to you. Of course, you cannot study something this is not of any interest to you. So the research process is more relevant if you care about your topic. Do I like it? Do I understand it? All those ones type of questions should linger in your mind. So you have to narrow your topic to something which is manageable. Narrow your topic to something which is manageable. So if your topic is too broad, it will be difficult for you to get much information. So you lose the focus. So you are advised to do a lot of background reading, which can help you choose the type of topic and also limit you the scope of your topic. So it is advisable to review the college guideline. Obviously, various colleges have various guidelines in terms of research, and there is a component of topic on how to select it. You ask your supervisor, you ask your trainer, you ask your professor, you ask your teacher on how you can choose a good topic for your study. It is very advisable also to refer to literature notes, internet, textbooks, and also it is very important for you to refresh your knowledge on terms of doing research so that you can understand more of a research topic. And this is very relevant if you do a lot of study. You have to read a lot of abstract, you have to read a lot of published journals, you have to read a lot of published topics, and research things so that you can be able to have at least a very appetizing type of a research topic. So you talk with your friends, you discuss, you can have a focus to that discussion, you can have a symposium, you can have questions and answers so that you can be able to understand the type of topic of your study. So when you're doing study, you have to ask yourself some few questions. The questions like who, what, when, and where should always be in your mind. So the question of why did I choose this topic? What do I want to achieve? What interest do I have on this? What type of problem do I want to solve? Do I have some opinion? Do I have some preliminary, some previous exposure to this type of topic? Do I have some knowledge about this topic? All these types ones should ask. Then you should also ask yourself other questions like who? Who are the information providers on this? Is it is there going to be a barrier, a language barrier? Are they willing? Are they going to be affected negatively or positively? Will they be able to understand? You have to ask yourself, who might publish my journal? Who is ready to publish my project? Who is affected by the topic? Which organizations are affiliated with this type of study I'm doing? Which institutions publishes this? Which institutions does this type of study somewhere else? All those types of questions should always ring in your mind. So what are the major questions for this topic? What is the major question? Is there a debate about the topic? Are there any range of issues or views to consider? Where is your topic important? Is it at the local, national, or international, or at a region? Are there specific places affected by the topic? Does the topic going to have some bias? When stroke what topic is important? Is it a current event which is taking place, or is it a historical issue? For example, is it in this case, you should ask yourself, is it a short study? Is it a cross-sectional study? Is it a longitudinal study? Is it a clinical study? Is it a retrospective type of study? All those type of questions should always be in your mind. So, do you want to compare your topic by time periods? For example, if you are doing an action research, where that you implement, you check whether the intervention has any effect, either positive or negative, in this type of study. So this is an example of a sample of a topic which I've ever done somewhere. So the topic should be as simple as possible. Ideally, the wording should be less than 15. Is seeing where it is done, the topic, what is done, and also who is doing it, and the purpose of doing it. The purpose of doing the study is well soon. So that's an example of a topic. So the other part of the introductory part of research proposal is table of contents. So the table of content is where you list the chapters and major sections of your thesis, research paper, or even the session if you want to do a section alongside their pages. A clear and well-formatted table of content is essential as it demonstrates to readers that a quality paper will follow. The moment somebody sees and disorganized table of contents, obviously start developing a raw opinion on your study. So your table of contents should be of quality so that it can attract readers. So the table of contents should be placed between the abstract and the introduction. So the maximum length should be 2 pages, depending on the nature of your paper. So what is included in the table of content when you're doing a proposal research project? So depending on the length of your document, you can choose between a single level, a subdivided, or a multiple level type table of contents. A single level table of content may include, number one, either endings or chapters. And this is the simplest option, but it may take too broad for a long document like a session. So a subdivided table of content includes chapters as well as level 2 ending sections. This so you are reader that each chapter contains what. So a multi-level table of content also further divides a section into 3 endings. This option can get messy quickly, so proceed with a lot of caution. Remember, your table of contents should not be longer more than 2 pages, because the reader will be bored and stop reading your project. So a multi-level table is often a good choice for a shorter document like a research paper. So example of level 2 endings are introduction, literature review, methodology, bibliography, and bibliography. So, subsections of each of these will be level 2 endings, further describing the content of each paper, chapter, or major sections. Any further subsections will be level 3. A subdivided table of content is usually best fit for most people. It provides a bit more complex than a single level table, but it does not get as long and complicated as multiple level. So you should include all appendices in the table of contents. whether or not include table and figure depends mainly on how many there are in your document. If there are more than three figures and tables, you might consider listing them on a separate page. Otherwise, we can include each in the table of content. So, this is and the section often have a separate list of tables, list of figures and tables. Research papers generally don't have a separate list of figures and tables. So, what should not be included in the table of contents? There are some things which should never be included in the table of contents when you're doing a research project. All level 1 and level 2 endings should be included in your table of content. With the level 3 ending using spelling. So the following things should never be included in a table of contents. Number 1, and acknowledgement page, your abstract, the table of competence itself. The acknowledgement and abstract always proceed the table of contents, so there is no need to include them. This goes for any sections that proceed the table of contents. So anything which is comes and before table of contents, you don't include it in the table of contents because already the reader has already seen it, has already seen it. It's already seen it. So that is what is not concluded in a table. So let us look at number 3 as part of the introductory part of doing research project. So acknowledgements. Generally, there are two main categories of acknowledgement. There is professional and personal. So a good first step is to check your university guidelines as they may have rules on differences about the honor for a placing or layout of acknowledgements. Some institutions prefer that you keep your acknowledgement strictly professional. So regardless, it's also a good idea to please professional. Acknowledgement first, followed by any personal note. You can then proceed by ranking who would like to thank from most from to the rest. So let us look at professional types of acknowledgement. Now, it is crucial to avoid overlooking anyone who helps you professionally as you complete your thesis or your session. As a rule of the thumb, anyone who directly contributed to your research process, from figuring out your session topic, your final friend should be mentioned. A few things to keep in mind includes 1. Even if you feel your chair didn't help you very much, you should still thank them first to avoid looking like you are snubbing them. Be sure to follow academic conversation. Ensure using names with their titles where appropriate. If several members of a group or organization assisted you, mention the corrective name only. Remember the ethical consideration around any anonymized data. If you used to protect someone's privacy, use only their first name or a generic identity, such as then the V's, like that. So there is also what we call personal acknowledgement. This is when you want to acknowledge or recognize people at a personal level who assisted you to do your study. So there's no need to mention every member of your family or friends groups. However, if someone was particularly inspiring or supportive, you may wish to mention them specifically. Many people choose to think grandparents, partners, children, friends, and even pets. But you can mention anyone who offered moral support or encouragement or helped you in a tangible or intangible way. So some students may wish to dedicate their dissection to an deceased influential person in their personal life. In this case, it is okay to mention them first for any professional acknowledgements. So outright acknowledgement. After you have confirmed a list of who would like to thank, you can then sort your list into a rank order. Separate everyone you list into major thanks, big thanks, and minor thanks, and categories. In this case, for example, major thanks are given to people who your project will be impossible without them. These are often complementary professional or acknowledgement, just as your advisor, your chair, your team, as well as any somebody who has contributed in terms of funding the project. So big thanks are in between for those who help people along the way or help people in lecture, just as classmates, peers, or librarians. So others are minor thanks, for example, can be a catch-off for everyone else, especially those who find more support or encouragement. This can include personal acknowledgement, such as parents, partner, children, even pets. So, common status in acknowledgements, for example, in a major thanks, you may say like, "I am deeply indebted to," so and so. Or you can say, "I would like to express my deepest appreciation to Professor so and so." Or you can even like to say that, "I would like to express my deepest gratitude to," or you can say, "I'm extremely grateful to," or I can say, "This endeavor would not have been possible without the assistance of so and so." It could not, say that it could not have been undertaken this journey without the help of so and so. So another one is that you can say that once cannot express my gratitude. Those are the major thanks. So big thanks can be, for example, many thanks to Mr. Kamal, many thanks to Mrs. Jerome, special thanks to, I'm also thankful to all four. I'm also grateful to all four. Thanks will also go to, I like to extend my sincere thanks to. Now, minor thanks can be, for example, I like to acknowledge, blah, blah, blah. Lastly, I would like to mention, I would like to recognize I am the pleasure of working with, collaborating with a certain laboratory, which assisted me to do laboratory investigations, or a police department that provided me with security when I was getting some samples from somewhere in a forest. So I would like to limit in not mentioned. So that is a common status in terms of acknowledgement classified in major banks, big banks, and minor banks. So an example of acknowledgement sample, here it is. So you can read it, you can see that it's somebody who wrote it, you can see that. One cannot express my gratitude to my teacher and the chair of my committee for his invaluable patience and feedback. I also could not have undertaken this journey without my defense committee, who in generosity provided knowledge and expertise. Additionally, this endeavor would not have been possible without the general support from the Kenyatta Foundation, who financed my research. I am also grateful to my classmates and the cohort members, especially my office mates, for their editing error, late night feedback sessions, and more support. Thanks will also go to the librarians, research assistants, and study participants for the university who impacted and inspired me. Lastly, I would be remiss in not mentioning my family, especially my parents, spouse, children. Their belief in me has kept my spirit and motivation high during this process. I would also like to thank my cat for all the entire and emotional support. You can see at this case that there is three types of acknowledgement. There is minor, the list. All of them classified in that paragraph. So acknowledgement dot and dot. What should you not include in acknowledgement and what should you include? So first of all, the rules of acknowledgement is that write in first person professional language. Thank your professional contacts first. Include full names, title, and laws of professional acknowledgement. Include professional or intangible support like friends, family, or even pets. Mention funding bodies and what they did funded. Appropriately anonymize or group researcher participant or not individuals acknowledgement. So what should you not do when you're doing acknowledgement? You should never use informal language or slang. Go over one page in length. Mention people who had only peripheral or minor impact on you. Those are the don'ts when you are doing acknowledgement in a study. That is a sample of declaration. The fourth is declaration, and that's a sample of declaration. You mention, you declare that basically that whatever you're doing is not double somewhere else. You write your name, your college number, your signature. Then it has to be signed by your professors who supervised you when you're doing your study. So the fifth one is nomenclature. These are the list of symbols, if needed be. The important symbols and their meanings in tabular form for the differences should be included in this. Extreme local symbols may be explained in their context. Numerics may not be needed if the number of symbols used in the less, in which case every symbol must be defined at their first occurrence. Since you are going to use a lot of symbols, nomenclatures, it is very important you explain what they mean, what they mean in your standard plan so that people can have a reference or to see what they mean. So number 6 is abstract. Abstract is a concerned summary of a research paper or entirely a thesis. It is an original work, not an exceptional passage. An abstract must be fully self-contained and make sense by itself without further reference to outside source or paper. It highlights key content areas of research purpose, the relevance of your work, and the main outcome. So basically, abstract is the summary. So it is well developed in a single paragraph of approximately 250 words length, which in depth and single spaced. The functions of the abstract is to outline briefly all part of the paper, although it is placed at the beginning of your paper. Immediately following the title page, the abstract will be the last thing that you write once you are sure of. Since the abstract is the summary of the study, it is supposed to be written as the last. So why write an abstract? Why is it important to write a summary or an abstract of your research project? So abstracts are important for both the selection and indexing purposes. In terms of selection, abstracts allows readers who may be interested in the paper to quickly decide whether it is relevant to their purpose and whether they need to read the whole paper. This one comes in the time when you publish your document, people read the abstract to see whether this is exactly what they want them to read for the purpose of comparison or they want to cite your journal. So indexing, most academic journals database assessed through the library enable you to search abstract, and this allows for quick retrieval for users. Abstract must be incorporated, and the key term that a potential researcher will use is structure. So the abstract is important for indexing when you're doing a publication. So when is it necessary to write an abstract? An abstract is always required in submission of article to journal, application for research grants, completion and submission of thesis, and submission of proposal for conference paper. Since most of your project you are going to do may require either some grants, some submission for purpose of the conference. So you need to readjourn for purpose of submission. For research grants, you have to write abstract. So, what to include in an abstract? What can be included in an abstract? So, the format of your abstract will depend on the discipline in which you are working with. However, all abstract in general cover the following 5 seconds. So the importance of saying that it depends on the discipline is it depends whether you're doing a laboratory project, an observation type of project, or like experimental, depends. So that you can be able to write the type of abstracts. But basically, all of them, they have a specific method of follow. For example, it has to show the reason for writing, what was the importance of writing of doing this research? And why would Alinda be interested in the larger work? You have to show them, they have to read them. You see the summary, you have to convince them that they have to read the other part, the bigger part of it. So it has to solve the problem, number 2. So what type of problem is this one solving? What is the scope of the project? What is the main argument? This is all clear. The methodology applied should be very important. It should be a tell what type of methodology applied in this one for the purpose of Scholar and the results. If it is a proposal, the result expected, and if it is a project proposal or a basis project which was done, it has to show the result, the findings. And then number 5, it has to show the implications. How does this work onto the body of knowledge in the topic? What does it add in the social life? Are there any practical or theoretical application from the findings or implication for future research? So basically, that is the summary, and that is the all about the abstract. So, and this is the end of it, or in terms of the introductory part of doing research. And from there, next time we'll discuss about the proper research now, and the body of the research as our next topic. So thank you very much for listening to this lecture. Thank you very much.